Well, I am now at the Dranglake Castle and it's trying to start going forward. And no statues, you're not gonna attack me. Mostly, well, I cannot deny the fact that I've been grinding a lot to make myself following the same modus operandi as I used in Dark Souls 1, which is called ridiculous amount of overpowering. Because Dark Souls games, you cannot make game too easy by being over leveled. At least not in the latter half of the game, and I am already at the latter half of the game, so being massively overpowered is just a icing on the cake. Right, that's normal, nothing. That was very intimidating, but not too perfect, not so powerful. And more of these statue things. I'm just taking to myself a policy of shooting these statues just out of spite. Oh, did you get distracted from somebody saying hello to you? I don't know. But it's still strange that they despite all the fancy stuff there is in games that nowadays, they still don't actually really can't make torches work correctly. And there's a big painting of a woman that probably is the queen that Chancellor mentioned, what was the Vellager mentioned. But oh shit, and another invader. Don't you even think about yeah. A bludgeoning blunt instrument with a yep. Yep. But I still really am strange to think that what is this Dranglake Castle that yes, it has trappings of a castle of, which is to say, ornaments, all kinds of structures, gates, guards, and all those kind of things, and it's very impressive place, but there doesn't seem to be much of things in here. It's empty. In a sense it is empty, but not in a sense that people around it have simply died. It's more empty in way of that it's abandoned, not even long time ago, and these guards or something were never told that, hey, you know, your job is over, just go home or wherever you are and stay here. They just do their guarding task quite mindlessly. But oh, judging by the size, that portrait showed her, and it was in natural size, meaning she's a giant, meaning she's very important, as in Dark Souls those important personnel are usually large.
You have fought admirably on your journey, cursed undead.
Very soothing voice.
I am Nashandra, Queen of Dranglake.
Well, I'm looking at, I can't see another throne. Is that Queen's throne or something?
The last king of this land. King Vendrick, as he was called. He found the strength to rule his people, and when the undead were born, cursed, he found more strength to face them. But in the end, he never took the true throne.
So what is that?
Visit Vendrick. We have no need for two rulers.
She doesn't speak anything anymore. What Nashandra just said implies that in Dark Souls universe there was time when there was mortals, and somehow this undead thing is some kind of plague which has appeared, and which might also explain why there's no children or anything like that, because everybody is undead, they don't grow old. But look at that. Dragon Riders in tandem. One of them has a bow and one of them follows the run-of-the-mill policy of halberd and shield. Otherwise he's just as identical as he ever was. And which also is some kind of hint that this is not, in a sense, important boss. It's a boss fight, yes, but it's not important in sense that this would be some sort of narrative climax of this place. No, this is just looks like a treasure hall or something. Really, you go down. And you seem to be quite squishy. Maybe of course because your task is to just stay up there and put arrows into things. Yeah, that wasn't so big a challenge. But then again, some kind of treasure room, but that room looks like some sort of clerical post, as in that where priest is a priest. This looks like a combination of temple and some sort of money storage. Though that's at least how I interpret. So it's time to... Oh, sorry, got a hiccups. Have a chat with this guy, old friend.
Oh, well met, friend.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see you well. Yes, very good indeed. I journeyed from the distant east to perfect my swordsmanship.
Yeah.
The legend has it that powerful beings slumber in this land.
Oh yeah, I face them. I usually find that by killing them.
It's been in my family for generations, and only a real man can wield it true.
And you must be a real man as you are wielding it.
Any manner, a man or beast, and none shall be a match for my sword.
Well, you are boastful indeed.
This land is a right mess, eh?
Yep.
King's gone. The people have a mad glint in their eyes.
Oh yeah, and there's no any kind of government.
Overrun by terrible beasts.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No better place to test my sword, eh?
I think your sword has probably proven itself quite good already. I think it's probably test yourself.
This land is a right mess. King's gone. The land, no better.
Oh yeah, but I guess it's time to actually go forward now. And that's an impressive contraption, and that is actually locked, and that's the way forward. And this whole place is actually nothing but a big loop you have to make to activate the lift, which can lift you up to a place where there is the key to open that door and all that kind of shebening. And lots of statues, but none of them appears to be a soldier. Except there's a one. And that's not even a soldier, that's a bloody ghost in a wall. So I guess I have to somehow lure an enemy in so I can get his soul to wake up that, what's a giant or golem or something. Well, there's... Oh, come on. You have a job to do, you know. A human sacrifice or some sort of weird headless thing sacrifice. Come here. Come here. Come here more. Yep. Get stunned. Get killed. Wake him up. I command thee to grab hold of that container and pull it open and twist it as well. Well, looks like I can't get... Well, that lowers the lift, but I can't get back there directly unless I use the bone, and I think I am going to use that bone mostly because this place doesn't lead anywhere, so I'm gonna go back to that elevator right in a few instants to you. Well, lift is down, so it's time to use it and get back up. And it's actually it's very unsafe as there's no guardrail or anything. You can just walk off and fall to your doom by not so soft landing. I don't know who figured that out, but somebody probably must have done so. Or then they just went to lie on this edge and waited for the lift to get up and squish them between those walls. So time to open these doors. Oh, what the hell is that? There's some kind of legless man with a... What the purpose that serves in a story-wise sense, I have no idea. Dark Souls has lots of these kind of little elements which are just there, they don't possibly don't serve much of purpose. They're just there to make things look disturbing or beautiful or whatever, but this is clearly some kind of prison to whatever female, almost childlike form in the box, or in a cage. Well, but now I got the key, the passage, so it's time to go down. Blah 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 blah. Now that's a quite long drop. I really can't figure out how much of... Well, if you could make some sort of arbitrary height to those structures, and then you could do some sort of calculation about how far it goes, but it still would be about... I'd say it's several tens of meters high, and that means quite high. Not hundreds of meters, that would be very long, but several stories high. And And again one of these church-like structures. And here are in these statues are some sort of, I don't know, they look a bit like mirrors or something. And of course statues which wake up and attack you. That's a trope not so much used in Dark Souls, but still it's completely good narrative method to imply some kind of vigilance and constant awareness of things of guarding. Something petrified. What's this? Ashen Knights. Ben Hart, that weird guy again. So what? First I'm gonna take a little trip back and then see what's possibly try to summon my aid and get to facing whatever's behind that door. Well, there was nothing, so I'm just gonna call those couple of boys to my aid. Make my handy sword into a lightsaber sword and step to fight against Looking Glass Knight in a rain. This is if when you can say it's a good setting to a battle. This is one. Oh shit. Oh shit, what the hell is it? Yeah, a knight wearing very shiny armor and carrying a large shield and being generally pain in the ass, mostly because that shield is now shield actually works as it's meant to do, as in that you don't need to activate it, you just carry it and it still does affect opponent's tactic. But reapply the buff. And get back to the fight. No, he went down. And henchman also survived. Looking Glass Knight. Actually, this is one of the most better, or actually perhaps the most epic battlefield of this game. In a rain, at the top of a huge castle, you face against a knight wearing a beautiful armor, although a bit spooky, but still in a sense beautiful armor. But there is no place upwards anymore. I have been already in that spire, at least I would say so. So it's time to go down. And I wonder, actually I do know that Vendake went this way, but it's still geography. Dark Souls games usually don't make any sense, as in that you can go down and you wind up at the top of a waterfall mountain top, or you can go upwards with a big lift and then you find into some place which has sunken beneath the earth. So yeah, up and down are not so necessary traits in here. But Dark Souls 2 has a bit of a strange pacing, I'd say that. As in that you get into things betwixt and then you wander to Majula and you don't know anything. Then you learn that eventually you learn there's 4 great powerful souls. You can go and kill them, or you can just grant yourself into different kind of very powerful form. And while you've done that, then you're gonna go to Drang Lake Castle, and you assume that that would be it. But this is one of the more interesting counter for the dreariness of Drang Lake Castle. Now this is clearly watery ruin, and as such you really can't say that it would. Wee-hoo! That priest or whatever fell down to his death. And more of those basilisks, which are dangerous as hell. And general policy, always strike the chest with a sword, just in case if there's a monster in it. Or to say, if the chest is a monster. But this is actually quite long place to go and go through. But yeah, the pacing. You go to Drang Lake Castle, you assume that you're gonna become a king by, well, the old-fashioned traditional way of by killing the previous one. That's the good old days way of becoming a king. You just prove yourself a bigger badass than the earlier king by killing him, and of course that would also mean raising an army and all that kind of stuff. But basically you just go and whoever kills the previous king is now the king himself, becomes the king. Yeah, by right of being by rights of conquest, most direct form of conquest. You just go and kill the previous king, and that's it. Period. Now you just make yourself a king and conquer the kingdom. Nothing really unpredictable about that. But there's some kind of lizard things sleeping in water. Actually, there are lots of treasures around here. Right, I'm gonna come and gather them later. Because most of them are not of the really important stuff. Except these. Well, oh, my mistake. I should have attacked that. Mostly of those consumables and this stuff, yes, but nothing too particularly extra necessary. Time to open this door. And this looks like a child, which was in Drang Lake Castle.
We knew you were coming. And stopped singing.
I heard it. It's beautiful.
We are Milfanito.
What does that mean?
We are here to sing to those bound by death and dark. We will sing here forever, as we always have, from long, long ago.
We know nothing of the world outside. And why should we? For we will never leave. Do you seek King Vendrick?
Yes.
But what is a king, after all?
Ruler.
We know
Source
nothing
of government.
of the world outside. For we will never leave here.
Either, well, you could say something like "Get a life,
When we
lady."
sing, the little ones dance.
But
The little ones grant
in-
comfort to those who bear death and dark.
the dark is capitalized.
This is what we were taught.
So your singing actually soothes the pain of those in here. That is actually very... could you call it noble, or at least... perhaps it might not be... noble call might not be the word, but I'd say it's holy mission. It's something of great importance, which might not be something... Well, it is a mission of great... It's a task of great importance, and possibly so important that you really cannot afford to think what others might think about that task. For, well, at least that is how I would see that. If someone has a holy mission task, it is so important that the one who does it cannot start to think how others might think of his mission. It might be insane for them, but holy mission is something that it is important, the one who does it. And no, I do not mean that holy mission is... Well, I don't think anybody could consider murdering something holy mission. Actually, I find that whoever thinks that murdering some people would be a holy mission is... well, it's insane. Just as clear as that. But of course, this shallow water does not go everywhere, so there's a risk of you to walking to your death. And those mushrooms are quite similar than those of Earthen Peak, except those spew acid. It's time to poison them with a deadly cloud of poison. I'll just watch in my viciousness how they die to it. Yeah, suffer from it. Get up and die. And I have to open the chest. And more of this handy stuff. Twinkling titanites and those smooth stones are always fun to have, useful to have. And this fog wall, well, that it was there just for show. Just as a divider to tell that there's a place to go. Well, actually, I think I'm gonna light the bonfire and then take a little bit of a break and continue later. Well, I go somewhere, but I might not be here. Well, I said I was somewhere else, and this is the cave or space beneath shaded woods. And I'm trying to...
The mouth to the dark chasm is not normally open. If you seek the dark, young undead, you must offer a human effigy.
Well, you look some sort of weird-ass dude in a wheelchair. How in hell in this technology there's wheelchairs? Actually...
May the dark
Actually, the presence of wheelchair is not so much of a technical matter. It could be built. But still, why would somebody call undead young? They're ageless, but time to go to the dark chasm of chaos carrying simple, reliable sword and shield and some armor, and hope that whatever horror lurks within doesn't kill me. And like always, Dark Chasm is a quite complex collection of caves and pits you can drop yourself into, especially if you are managed to get yourself into panic. And of course, knowing that the enemies around here are those of the most dangerous type of enemies, which is to say other well, they are black shades, but still. Which to say, they fight just like you with all the nastiness you can deliver, except of course they are being controlled by computer, makes them more dangerous, and they have quite lots of endurance, and they drink chug Estus. But I still don't really know what they are. They're some sort of shadows, phantoms, ghosts hiding, remnants of the dark. So you wanna go start a Luckily you are not immune to the pit of the abyss. And that shade-like thing can spew magic, but is otherwise quite harmless. Well, except it spews magic so fast that I can't... It stun-locked me. Now it's poisoned and I hope it dies to it. Yep, Dark Chasm is actually quite challenging place. Mostly because of quite bizarre landscaping. And of course the pits and darkness. Nasty combination. Oh, that was close. And there's a lift to go pull downstairs, but let's just pull the lever to get it up. I hope there's not a... And if there's an enemy there, there isn't. Now it's time to use the torch to light up a bonfire, bring light to darkness. It's a real shame they actually didn't... there isn't practically any kind of stealth in Dark Souls games, meaning that... Well... You really can't use any kind of sneaky tactics. You just... rush in and you get busy killing of course the exact method of your rushing in and is variable, but there's not actually something else either, and lots of mist coming up. It's time to get some of these trinkets ready, get magics ready, and walk in this pit. What? And there's a charging. And an angel-like boss monster with big magics and intimidating name of Dark Lurker. But it doesn't seem to like fire magics. I may have gotten myself quite massively over-leveled for this fight, which is good because not being massively over-leveled in Dark Souls is an invitation to death. Oops. And now it doubled itself. Meaning instead of fighting one boss, you're now fighting two of them. Which becomes oops. Oops, down. Come on. Hey, fuck! Well, supposed to say that's a nasty bastard. And there's no any kind of knowledge of what that thing is. It's just there. And it's quite vicious. Well, I just came to this Shrine of Amana and I actually did some prep work before going through this, mostly to save some time and, well, and give some thinking space. But this Amana, Shrine of Amana, is one of the well, it's just a place you go through in a sense, but it actually has also lots of interesting set pieces for in a Dark Souls game. I mean, it's clearly some sort of sunken city, or there's structures, but there's also these wood-like things which cover it from the upstairs. So this is not actually a complete cave in a sense, more like some sort of undergrowth, very fantasy landscape, but and of course these water light glowing flowers make it more bizarre. But well, this is the place which leads towards, well, most likely towards Vendrick. And well, foes of this place were actually quite much shown. There were those weird ass water critters and then some other weird ass things, none of really, but it's very working. And of course these things, the mushroom monsters, Not so much dangerous, more like really annoying as they spew acid. And acid spew means you're gonna suffer from it. And there's a summon to be got. So yeah, and that big one, you definitely don't want to get near that. Because that acid spew, it blasts, will wreck your equipment in blink of an eye. Nothing shorter time than that. But like any other mushroom monstrosity, it doesn't like being burned. Sorry for being a bit of a raspy. But here's those hammer-wielding priest characters, enemies. I really don't know what they are, but they do have some sort of stereotypical fantasy cleric or priest appearance with that hammers and armor. And that guy made a healing spell before he actually got... yeah, clerics and wizards. Wizards which spew magical missiles at you, and clerics which do more like close quarter combat against you. And of course are also armed with a shield. Or better say carry a shield. And that one stands right on the edge and it doesn't know how to swim. There is nothing in Dark Souls game which knows how to swim. Some things are immune to drowning, but there is able to glide or fly or whatever. But nothing knows how to swim. And luckily those wizard characters or dudes or enemies don't tend to stand in one place, meaning if you just look around you can actually see them and put them full of arrows before they can do much damage against you. And of course those water beasts lurking in here have these nice fireflies keeping them distracted. They are... the little ones dance, and when they dance those things remain docile. For what is the exact purpose of them, I do not know. Well, they are of course set piece, meant to do a bit of indication of where those water beasts are lurking, so you know how to avoid them, or you can do like me and ambush them. And of course there's these corridor ways and those which make it possible for you to actually navigate this place a bit easier, so you don't walk into your watery doom. But here's some sort of structure with Sing. And who is this ragged form? I do not know, but she didn't look too good and she teleported away. So it is time to get my arrows out and prepare to face the monster in here. Demon of Song, some kind of weird ass frog monstrosity. Which actually didn't even... and it is invulnerable when it is hidden. It has hidden its ugly face behind that whatever bag it has around it. But you can see, you can be clearly seeing it ain't immune to poison even when it's wearing that mask. So time to get close to... come on, show your face. Oh yeah. Dark Souls 2 has, you could call it a bit of easier bosses. At least in Souls game level. Meaning they are not easy, but they're not usually horrifyingly hard or unfair. In the sense that you actually can... But the purpose of this boss is just to be a boss. An obstacle you face, dangerous obstacle, living monster obstacle you will face. Take some poison. I think you will like it. But it also knew how to sing, as it's called Demon of Song, and there was this singing. But usually frog monsters aren't so common in fiction. But this thing is a frog monster. It lives in damp place, but why it is a human face in a frog-like shell, I don't know. But it took out a stab wound right to its ugly face. And with it I got some stuff. But Dark Souls 2 has a feeling of being a game which has lots of places which were either meant to lead to somewhere or some other places, or were just put there for whatever strange reason of they just wanted to put it there as a set piece design or some sort of odd form of trickery to a player. And then you could go all around these places, look through them, seek through them, and try to find any point for them, and eventually you wouldn't find any point for them. They would just be there, interesting paths to explore, but what they actually mean is completely different. And well, that guy was just as a obstacle to mean that this is the place where to go or not to go, or indicate that this place has importance. Let's try to open these doors. Locked. Well, there's a way to open it, which is to see you are to be hollow. But yeah, Shrine of Amana. Is Amana some sort of deity they worshipped in here, and this was a huge shrine complex that it was built for it to worship it? I do not know, but that guy is those Stranglake Knights, or however you wanna call it, and he's clearly guarding some place of interest. And sorry about that, but I have to get through this place, so open says me. And now again going down, and this time it looks that front door appeared more like to be some sort of crypt. And of course lift going down also implies that we are going to a grave, tomb or crypt. Which is a place of burial, which also means we're probably going to some place of importance. From castle we went to shrine, and now it's crypt, undead crypt, meaning it's probably a place where undead gathered to rest in some sort of sleep. Possibly eternal sleep. Time to open these gems and use the bonfire. Oh, another fire blast. Oh, I have met you before. And you still haven't told me what you are. Except that you are flaming and you are big and quite scary. I don't even know what's in front of you. Oh yes. More like conqueror of stubbornity. Oh, who is that? You? Oh, what the? Being a stubborn bastard. That is a win. And that dark was something, probably the dark or abyss or dragon kind or whatever. But that's some act which happened long ago. So actually, yes, I do want peace. I want some sort of point to this undead. So he's here. Good. A guy with an authority. Yeah, just a stubborn undead. So, but who are you? You're some sort of fearing head with a red glaring eye. You don't look too well. But he didn't sound sick, but it's time to now light the bonfire and end this episode right here. And I'll see you then. See ya.